thok, clack, poppy, creamy. Long ago, all 4 keyboard elements lived in harmony until the preference nation attacked. But I believe... Excuse me, you're trying to figure out your keyboard preference? Like you want to know what you want to put in your keyboard? Well, how about a keyboard that can do this? And I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, Hipyo, you just broke your keyboard. That's insane. You're insane. No, I could take this keyboard apart in 10 seconds. And you can too. Now, I know what you're thinking. I just want a keyboard that works. I don't want to take it apart. Well, in this video, I'm taking a look at a keyboard that might be one of the best options for beginners on a budget. And if you don't believe me, I'll be showing you how different this keyboard can sound by just tweaking a few things in less than a couple minutes. Hint, it's really good. But there's just one problem. Oh no. Now, this story begins with my last video on my sponsor, Womier. I covered their SK75, and it was a really good keyboard that was really annoying to take apart. And wait, what's this on the box? Rapid disassembly? Okay, I think they listen. There's an elephant behind me, isn't he? He's right there. We'll get to you. Now, in the box, everything's a little bit bare bones. You've got the basic bare minimum of accessories, like a cable, a couple switches, and a keycap puller. But what are these squishy yellow guys? Huh? Also, under my keyboard, for some reason, there was this little weight and 2.4 gigahertz dongle. Okay. Funny enough, the one thing that isn't bare bones is, oh, the keyboard. And yeah, that just pops off right out of the box, but we'll talk about that feature more later. Now, this gorgeous hunk of aluminum is the Womier RD75. It's a 75% keyboard, so you keep the arrow keys and the F row. It's got 4 very beautiful color options. It's pre-built, so it has switches and keycaps. It's got an aluminum case. It's gasket mounted. It's got a battery. So then, what's wrong? Now it's time to talk about the elephant in the room, because this keyboard is a Kickstarter that starts at $89 US and works its way all the way up to $229 for 2 of them. Huh? Speaking of elephant, this keyboard is pretty hefty for being a $100 keyboard. Now, the Hipyo Tech certified stance on Kickstarters is don't join them. Don't join a Kickstarter. And you're probably like, but Hipyo, why are you making a video on the keyboard then? Well, in reality, it's fine to join a Kickstarter, and I do join Kickstarters from time to time, but you need this thing called expectations. Like, Kickstarters and group buys suck because it's shifting most of the responsibility over to the consumer rather than the producer. Now, there are a few important differences with keyboard Kickstarters, as generally, they've often started production on the product before doing the Kickstarter, and in reality, they're doing it mostly for advertising. However, delays will happen. Like, they're saying they're gonna ship this thing in September, but if I were you, plan for it to ship in October or November if you buy this thing. Also, you might notice that I only work with Kickstarters where they've already started production on the keyboards. These are all from Womier, but guess what? There still might be delays, so please don't buy it expecting to get it right away and then get mad at me when you don't. Just like I expected this gasket performance to be relatively mid. Now, gaskets are supposed to make your board feel a little bit softer and soak up some of those reverberations. However, this is a little bit hot spotty, which makes me think that they're probably just using flex cuts. Some people really do like a hot spotty gasket flex, but for me, it makes it just feel a little bit uneven to type on. And actually, in some cases, it can make typing on a keyboard feel a bit like a bouncy house. Speaking of bounce, I'm bouncing my finger on this board, and the top sounds very pingy, like a blacksmith anvil. This has me a little bit worried, not gonna lie. Now, if we flip the keyboard over, we've got, oh, what's going on with that? We've got literally no case ping at all. And then the top pings, and the bottom, no ping. Now, that little hole on the back is to store your 2.4 gigahertz dongle. I do not recommend storing it in any other little holes. And the build quality of this board is simultaneously really impressive, but also not impressive. Like, they've got the back weight, which is a little bit boring compared to something like a Rainy 75. The whole case is CNC aluminum, which makes it a little bit more premium than some of the other cast aluminum cases. But we've seen most of this before from other keyboards, even from Womier. So what makes this keyboard different overall? Well, what Womier has done is they've seen all of these 75% aluminum keyboards release over the last year. They've taken notes on everything people have had issues with. Well, most everything. And they've just fixed most of it. Oh God, did I just break that? Now, there's some things that are the same as all of the competitors. And there's some things that are strikingly different. First, these keycaps are actually the same. Almost every $100 budget keyboard features double shot PBT keycaps. They're all fine, but the switches are decently distinct. Distinctly broken. Remember how I was talking from the intro about how there might be issues with the Kickstarter board? Well, one of my switches just had a broken clip and was sticking up, which led to that terrible aesthetic. However, I did remember they included 3 switches, so I just swapped it out and it was perfectly fine. Now these switches are a very pleasant, buttery highlight of the board, but also a bit of a downside. But you're probably thinking, Hipyo, why is it a downside? It's a good switch, it's thoughtky, right? Well, you remember how I was talking about preference earlier in this video? Womier only chose to include a 50 and 55 gram linear switch, which limits the possibilities for preference to a very small region. If you like tactiles or clickies, then you don't get that option in the pre-built version. But that might be fine, because you remember it's the Womier RD75? The RD stands for rapid disassembly. Well, you won't need to be rapidly disassembling these stabilizers because they were factory lubed incredibly well, and honestly, I'm in the plate mount stabilizer supremacy gang now. They're better than PCB mounts, literally. Now, these switches are brandless, so I don't really know how to compare them, but they do kind of resemble like a Hipyo style switch. They had great factory lubing, they felt really smooth. I don't have any complaints because they're a lightweight linear switch. Now, if down the road you do want to swap them out, the board is hot swappable, so that makes it incredibly easy for you. You just yank them out. Now, with the stock configuration, this keyboard does feel really nice to type on. It feels a little bit bouncy, a tiny bit responsive, and I think most people would be happy with this. But what if you want to tweak things? Well, the first thing you might want to tweak would be the software or the wireless mode. And while you sadly have to remove a key to turn it on and off, this board does support VIA, something that this board's biggest competitor, the ND75, does not do. Unfortunately, similar to the ND75, the RGB is painfully dim. Oh, and you're probably wondering what's the difference between the Pro and not Pro version of this board? Well, it's double the battery capacity, RGB, and a plate. And if you don't want that battery capacity, then you're sure as heck not getting that good of an RGB experience. Like, it's there, but it's not very noticeable. Like, maybe it's more noticeable if you get a version with darker keycaps, because my Keychron P1 shines bright like a diamond. So I would say save your money and don't go with the Pro version, because honestly, the FR4 plate probably isn't doing that much justice here. And I can't imagine that many people need the double battery life. But now it's time to talk about what I think is the coolest feature of this keyboard, and what sets it apart from a lot of the competition. And it's the rapid disassembly. Like, look at that thing. Now, this board uses a ball clasp magnet mount, and don't worry, I did ask for consent. I'm not like those YouTubers. Which allows you to take the keyboard apart in literal seconds. Like, as you saw in the intro, I took this whole entire thing apart, removed foam, and put it back together in about 10 seconds. Now you're probably thinking, oh, Hipyo, this is a gimmick. Or, oh, Hipyo, this has been on other keyboards, like the Neo line of keyboards. Yeah, but those are almost double the price for a fully built keyboard. However, they are cool options that you should consider if you have more of a budget. Personally, I want to see this in every keyboard because it's really, really fun to just fiddle with, but also it allows you to modify your keyboard in a bunch of different ways. Now, personally, I am a little bit bummed that this keyboard only has 2 different gasket mounting styles and doesn't offer a top mount version or a tray mount version or other mounting styles that would allow you to play with the keyboard. But what it does allow you to do, which a lot of people don't do, is figure out your case sound preference by just doing it. But even more than that, it has a magnetic daughter board. What? Yeah, I've also seen that in other keyboards, but it's really cool. So the whole plate and PCB assembly isn't connected with any screws, meaning you can just take apart everything really, really rapidly. That's why they call it the rapid disassembly. They weren't lying. What this means is that you can figure out your keyboard preference, like if you want more foam, less foam. Do you want to do a tape mod? Do you want to not do a tape mod? Do you like it when your board sounds clackier or thockier or creamier or whatever? You can figure out most of that in a really short amount of time by just playing with this board. And to prove that, at the end of this video, I have a sound test with a bunch of different configurations to show you how your board can sound differently just by playing around with foams. I didn't change the keycaps or the switches because, oh my God, that would be, you could get really crazy with it. And you should, because there's nothing better than figuring out your favorite keyboard. And yeah, I even swapped out the gaskets for the little orange guys. Now you're probably thinking, well, Hipyo, should I buy it then? You seem to really like this keyboard. Well, that depends on your level of patience, because there's a keyboard that does a very similar thing called the ND75. You should check out my video on that. There's other keyboards with different aesthetics and different switch options all around the same price bracket now. And it's the most competitive price bracket with lots of in-stock options. So if you're okay with waiting till like October and having delays and other issues that might pop up, then hey, join a Kickstarter. Not my problem. But I don't think this keyboard is going anywhere, so maybe just wait for them to rapidly assemble it for you and like check it out when it goes in stock or something. I don't know.